Friends, fans, fans of friends, friends of fans, fans of the show Friends, and welcome to Retro 75. Seems like not that long ago we were celebrating Retro 50, about 3 years ago now, in what I consider to be not just my best retro stream, but maybe my best stream ever. I'm not going to promise that's going to happen today, but I am looking forward to a really cool episode. We've got new look, new graphics, and basically the same kind of show, so to speak. We got the usual gags and everything. Chaos Blur, howdy, howdy, howdy. We got this guy here. Hello, I'm Sonic the Hedgehog. Whee! All right, here he goes. But seriously, I'd like to thank everybody for making Retromania, Retro Request Party, Retro such a special show over the years, because, I can do the show and I can put together all the schematics I want, but it's really nothing without all of you guys and girls out there. So I'd like to thank personally Beckazon, Shads, Zero, Toaster Cartridge, Rem, Big Mac, Polluted Turtle, Spidey. God, there's so many people. I'm gonna end up forgetting somebody. Dark Sage, who stops by every once in a while. Randy, of course, has been there since the beginning. IDM Pod. Some of you are all people I know, like in real life. Some of you I just met on the streams recently. Queen Bee, Scarecrow. It really is quite a list, and it didn't always used to be that way. For the first 5 episodes or so of the show, it was basically just me playing retro games by myself. But we've come a long way. And again, I'd like to thank everybody again personally. It's been a blast for 74, about to be 75 episodes. And like I said, we got a new logo today, new design. I've been teasing it since the beginning of the year, but today's the day. We're going to see the brand new look Retromania. Very similar, to be honest, but should be a fun one. And for Chad and Zero, got somebody who'd like to say hi to you. Yes. It's all mine. All mine. Enjoy the show, everybody, though. Seriously. New look, same great taste. Let's get retroactive. Chaos. All right, how we doing, everybody? Welcome to Retromania 75, the all-new look for the all-new show. That is still basically the same show, but I just wanted to do a little something to show you how much I appreciate you all for over 74, now 75 episodes of Retro. We got ourselves a new logo. I would say a new theme song, but technically I didn't write any of these theme songs. That was actually a song from Sonic Mania, believe it or not. Maybe that shouldn't be so hard to believe because I do love me some Sonic music, and I also do love me some SEGA games, which is kind of the theme of today's episode. Now, I've been a little bit, well, not a little bit, I've been very mysterious about what the actual theme of Retro 75 would be in terms of what the content would be. But unsurprisingly, we're going to be celebrating a little game company that inspired my life, that got me into gaming, that kept me in gaming for so many years. And, you know, I'm like the old man now who always goes, oh, it's not like it used to be, because I grew up with the Sega Genesis, the Sega Dreamcast, and some of the best games that I've ever played. And actually, the music, and ironically right now it's not music at all, it's an FMV from an old Sega CD game. It's playing right now off my Sega Genesis Mini 2 because I'm just that much of a collector. But I thought it'd be kind of cool to have some Sega music going here in the background. As I get things going here for Retro 75, how we all doing today? I don't know where this is thinking. There's so many controllers in here. This isn't even the only Genesis controller I have in here. But how we doing, Queen Bee? I see we also got Steamboat Link, and yeah, we're going to be starting a big stream today. It is Retro Day. It is Retromania 75, as I might have mentioned. And we're going to get to all that fun stuff in just a moment as far as the game voting goes. But something new I've been doing, in addition to playing random music, and in this case cutscenes, is what I call the icebreaker poll. So basically it's a question that's just, you know, just a little 3-minute poll. Related to gaming in some way, but not necessarily, you know, and it's not going to influence this episode in any way. And our icebreaker question today is, well, if you've even seen them, what is your favorite Sonic the Hedgehog movie so far? I asked this as somebody who just recently collected the third movie in the series on DVD, or Ultra 4K Blu-ray, and I actually struggled with this. So I'm like, I'm going to put this up to a vote. I don't know if anybody's even seen all 3 Sonic movies. I have, obviously, and this was a tough one for me. I'm going to go ahead and cast my vote right now. I only say this after last night. I'm picking Sonic 3, and I never thought I would say that because I loved Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Hey, what's up, Shads? How you doing? Welcome to Retromania. We got the new logo, new graphics, and everything on display already. And yeah, welcome to the show. You cannot have the Rayman in the background. Everything here is for display purposes only, and that is all that it will be for. I don't know, you probably missed my little intro in the beginning. I actually called you out by name, along with my friend Pac-Man, who's hiding back here somewhere. But yeah, that's just the icebreaker poll. We're just getting started. I don't know who's seen all 3 Sonic movies, and if you have, I don't know how big of a Sonic fan you even are, but to me, Sonic 3, and again, Sonic 2 is still, like, one of my favorite video game movies of all time, and a lot of the games we're going to see today are games that I consider highly regarded. That's why, you know, today's episode's called It Takes Ages, so it's like, where did that come from? Where did I get that slogan from? Well, much like a lot of the things I do, that is not original either. Sega in the 90s had a slogan that, to be this good takes ages. To be this good takes Sega, because they're spelled with the same letters. Yes, very clever, I know. But, trying to actually, I had retro music playing in the background, and now it has just devolved into like a long-winded cutscene from an FMV game that was on the Sega CD, which is actually one of the few Sega things I'm not huge into. So, yep. There's plenty of great Sega music. This is not it, because it's not music at all. All right, let's set the mood here. We got a lot of Sega stuff coming up here, but first I'm actually going to do something a little more interesting, a little different as we wait for the results of this icebreaker vote, which again is just that. It's just an icebreaker vote. So I know I don't see my German friends in the chat just yet. Maybe they'll show up a little bit later. There is a German soda that I tried not too long ago. I got the can actually right here. It's called Spezi. I don't know if they have it anywhere else in Europe, but it's called Spezi. It is an interesting mix, and it's very good. And I was told that it is similar, and I have tried it, it is similar to a blend of Coca-Cola and Fanta. So I decided to do a little test on this, and I've actually done this at work. We have like fountain drinks where you can mix them together, but I've never done it this way. So yes, in the honor, in the vein of mixing things up, we're going to try to make our own Spezi right now, using what I consider to be the ingredients. And again, I don't know if anybody here has tried it outside of Germany, but, I mean, I have, and I'm not in Germany. It looks like Sonic 3 did win the poll 3-1. No love for the first movie. I did not hate the first movie, and I'm sure none of you did either, but it just was not my proverbial cup of tea. But we're not making tea right now. We're making Spezi. That's right. We're actually going to do this right now. I have no idea how this is going to come out, so we're going to do about half a cup, or half a glass. I'm not a scientist. Half a glass of orange. Fanta orange here. Here we go. Aren't you glad? Might be a little too much. And again, this is all in the interest of science, and also something that my friend Bex told me. Well, she's not here at the moment, but this is going to be a moment. We're going to make our own Spezi here. We're live on the air. I'm now a scientist. I'm now a chemist. We're going to make a German soda in America. Just don't tell anybody. Except it's live on the air, so I guess we'll tell somebody. And then we're going to get to the voting and all that good stuff, because like I said, I like to mix it up quite literally. Of course, you got Coke. And apparently there is also a variant of this drink in Germany called Mezzo Mix. That is literally what I'm doing. A mix of orange and Coke. Okay. God, I'm measuring this in like it's so precise. What's going on? Zero and Chads, welcome to the show. We got Link. Oh yeah, this is good. I don't know why I was just about to put the bottle cap back on the glass. For good measure, we're going to mix this up a little bit. It's really just that simple here. We're making our own Spezi. Actual Spezi is really good. Not saying this isn't actual Spezi. It's not actual Spezi. I actually am saying that. I'm going to down the hatch here and get ready. That is what I'm literally drinking is Coca-Cola mixed with Fanta. Not as good as Spezi, but not bad either. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the bits. Again, don't know if you've had Spezi. It might be available in Slovakia and other European areas. I'm just going to go ahead and get this on real quick. Well, good, now I can't see. That was a great idea, right? So, today's episode, we got SEGA games from all generations. So you're probably wondering, does that mean we're going to see any Sonic games today? Well, yes. What do you think? Of course, yes. But I'm going to try to do more than just that. And on that note, we're going to get round one started here. I still can't see, but that's all right. And also, to be clear, we got Retro Chaos going on the whole episode, which means you can, if you want to, buy additional votes for 75 points apiece. We've also got grab bags, although only a few of them in this episode. I'm not going to go too nuts with that. But if you don't like, what you see on the poll, for at least a few options here, you can go and vote for a grab bag, which is basically just your shot at something very random. But we're all about random here on the channel. Yeah, Stream Deck seems like a good idea in principle, except when it doesn't tab over as quickly as you'd like, and that's all right. We're going to go ahead and fire out the first poll anyway and catch up the graphics when we can. So our first round of Retro 75 is some great, and I mean great, Sega Genesis games here. Not Sonic games, though, you'll notice. We've got Streets of Rage 2, Golden Axe 3, Vector Man, Outrun, and if you don't like any of those, we do have, somewhere in this mess, we have a whole slew of Sega Genesis cartridges to pick from. That would be our grab bag option. And, okay, well, there's Queen Bee tipping her hand already. She just got 84,000 points to spend, but who's counting? And also, I should mention that I will also be voting in every round as well, but that also is not extremely relevant because, well, you guys can very much outvote me. So I'm going to go ahead and cast my vote right now. And we're going to let things just go ahead and spread it out here. I don't want to give you guys advice, but don't blow it all on one thing here. Go ahead and now I can actually fire this off. Yeah, welcome to Retromania. Hopefully you guys are having a great day. I know I am so far. Graphics aren't showing up. That's because I just clicked on them, but I did show off the new logo and all that great stuff a little bit earlier. I'm actually wearing, well, you can't see it now with that over here, I'm wearing the new Retromania shirt. I decided rather than just have the Chaos Blur shirt, which is great too, I've got my own Retromania shirt. I got the Retromania sleeve. I don't know why I'm showing any of this off. You can't see it with the big graphic below it. We got Lana Rem. Welcome to the show. Rem, how you doing? I also shouted you out in the intro too. We made German soda, and we are voting in round one. That is what you missed so far in what has been a very fast-paced episode of Retromania already. But that is to be expected because in addition to making Sonic games, Sega always made great racing games. That's why I have a couple of them on the ballot here. Although it seems like everybody's going for the grab bag right now, which is why, I like the idea of the grab bag. Obviously, it dominated the last episode, Retro 74. But not every episode is going to be grab bags. I wanted to do a few this episode. And I should mention that in the grab bags, for the most part, they're also Sega-published games. So they're not just Genesis games. They're Sega-made games. Maybe not all of them. And again, I'm not going to give everything away, but it's not like last time. It's not like last time where I had, like, 30 games in the bag. I might only have, like, 15 in the bag, just to be transparent here. And out of those 15, probably like 10 of them are first-party games, and then there's a few, like Street Fighter. There's a few third-party ones in there for Sega Genesis. Oh, I figured the grab bags will be popular, and that's why I'm not against having them, obviously. But, I also have other things. I'm almost hurt that you guys don't trust my judgment on some of these choices, and you feel the need to vote for something random. Just anything but what Bobby picked. Just throw it in a big bag. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, the bag is still picked by me. Like, I still picked the games that went in the bag. So it's you're not really going to offend me if you go with the bag. But yeah, it's still a tight vote. We still got some time left. We got Rem here, like I mentioned. I cast a vote as well in this round, and so far it's the only vote for that game. That's okay. I'm not going to take that personally. We got a little back and forth going here now. Now I feel like people are going to feel bad for me. Like, don't feel bad about voting for the grab bag. This is what makes the new retro format so interesting. Although not every episode will have Retro Chaos. I usually make the Retro Chaos cost so high that nobody wants to do it. But every 5 episodes, which is a rule I just made up last time, every 5 episodes it will be Retro Chaos for the whole episode. So, of course, 75, 80, and so on. Can you believe it, though? Seriously, who thought we'd be doing this? I mean, I might have. I kind of do the same thing all the time anyway. But who thought we'd be doing this in 2025? More retro. It's like season 6 or 7 if we're keeping count of that kind of thing. Always trying to reinvent the show in some ways. It's kind of the same show. I kind of get to the point where it's like, okay, if I take too much stuff away or I add too much stuff, it loses that retrosity. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying, but you know what I mean? I can't talk. But yeah, we got the Retron 5 on deck here, so I'm ready for whatever. We got, of course, a lot of Sega Genesis games will likely be featured today, but there's going to be some other ones as well. I remember it barely worked with your old laptop. Yeah, well, let's not jinx it, because I've been having some issues with my streams lately, and, just related to whatever. I mean, I would even go higher than this. Like, I would love to, not to brag or anything, but, like, I can do some video editing. I would love to do, like, some split screens and some stuff on the side, stuff scrolling. Like, I mean, my new intro, again, not to brag, is pretty cool, but, I gotta work with what I got. I don't want to, like, overdo it, but I want to do what's going to work. And believe it or not, one of the hardest parts of coming up with this new remake, or whatever you want to call it, was coming up with the voting graphic. I wanted to come up with something that wasn't too distracting, but still had a little more energy to it, and, kind of still a little basic. I might still upgrade it in the future. This might not be a finished product, but it was finished enough for today. I actually considered revealing the new logo in 74, but I'm like, I'll save it for 75. I'm a little more ready now, so, things could still change, but, I mean, the logo is what it is. And the Sega Genesis grab bag won 10-9, which is a very close vote. Wasn't really sure where that was going to go. I need a lot of things, to be honest, but one thing at a time. But yeah, here's the new logo here. I got my new shirt with unnecessary sleeve. You'll never see it because it's on my back, but you'll never see it. It's on my back. I got the Let's Get Retroactive slogan on the back of my shirt somewhere. Oh, Bex is here. I made Spezi. I made Spezi. It was great. So we actually took like half a bottle of Coke and half a bottle of orange, and yeah, that's what we did. That's what we did. That's all we did. And got a little something for you, Bex, if it works, which it did. Okay, I actually swallowed a demon when I did that one. I'll tell you what, that demon went down pretty easy. Alright, so... yes, well, the name of the game is going to be Sega today, but because we went grab bag, there is a slight chance. I don't want to, like, put a number on it, but there is a chance that we get a game that is not a Sega game. Hey, what's going on? What's going on, Big Mac? I was actually asking Big Mac the other day, how would you say Let's Get Retroactive in German? And we couldn't quite come to a consensus, but, yeah, welcome to the show. We're going to have a good time. We're going to get that grab bag started right now, actually. And I can guarantee you, by the way, that it's not going to be Sonic 2 in the grab bag, because Sonic 2 is already in another round. So, whatever we pick is going to be a Sega Genesis game, but it's not going to be Sonic 2. We're going to break that streak right now. Okay, we're going to do it. Like I said, there's not a ton of games in this one, and a lot of them are also Sega games, so beware of that. Be very aware. Alright, I'm going to grab this. feels like a Sega Genesis cartridge because it is. And I'm going to close my eyes because I don't need to see it. You guys might want to see it. What do we got? It is Vector Man 2. Alright, so Vector Man 1 did not win, but Vector Man 2 did. That counts as a new game. That's not a, that is not Sonic 2. I just gotta blindly feel for which one of these is the Genesis. What do you call it? The Genesis Link. Oh, there it is. No cartridge inserted. What do you call this thing? Did I just stick this in the wrong slot? There you go. Didn't think that was possible. That was the right slot. Alright, good. Vector Man 2 is also hard as shit, I just realized. I'm like, why didn't I play Vector Man 2 as much as the first one? Because it's, like, hard as shit. I rarely make it past, like, the first... Not the first level, but... God damn it. Too many Sega controllers. They're all Sega controllers, most of them. Not all of them. Do I have a save file on this? That is not a save file. Oh, alright, hold on. That little loading bar there means that there could be a save file. Alright, alright. What's going on, Big Mac? What's going on, everybody? Here we go. Just for giggles, I just want to see if I have a... Nope, I do not have a save state. That's okay. Let's see how far we can get in this game. Probably not very. Actually, the hardest level in this game is like level 3, I want to say, because you actually can get lost pretty easily. Level 1 and 2 are actually pretty simple. What am I saying? Well, let's just watch the game, shall we? I love Sega music, though. Like, almost every Sega game, even to this day, although maybe not as much so, but every Sega game has, like, just really fun, kind of vibey music, I like to call it. I actually kind of hate that I just said the word vibey, but that's the only way I can really describe it. Anyone who's played a lot of Sega knows what I'm talking about. They really, you know, not to bring up the old console wars of the 90s, but I will go ahead and bring those up. They really try to set themselves apart from Nintendo in a number of ways. Some people could say for better or worse, but, you know, they had their own style, they had their own kind of music and graphic presentation. And it all meant, I mean, again, that's not to say Sega's better, this one's better. I mean, I do think Sega's better, but that's not to say Nintendo's bad or any of that. Sega just had something to them. And even this game, Vector Man 2 came out, like, toward the very end of the Genesis lifespan, like 96, 97 we're talking. This game's still really awesome. Playing some of the Digimon TCG until my opponent needs to go. Well, on one hand, I'm sorry they had to go, but on the other hand, I'm glad to have you here. Raise the game by... Oh, yeah, I probably should do that. And I will, right now. I had it kind of low because before it was just serving as background music. I see Toaster's been up to literally the same thing since yesterday. So you still want it up. It seems kind of high already, but that's alright. We'll adjust with that. That's one thing about not just this episode, but every Retromania is that, like, every console and every, like, game has its own sound levels, so I do need to monitor that. It's not like PS5 where sound is kind of mostly standardized around the board. Some Genesis games are really loud, some Game Boy games are really loud, some are really quiet. I mean, for me, it looks like it's metering pretty hot, but I can only go by what I get. And then again, that's also Twitch, too. Some people, like, not blaming anybody, I'm saying, like, sometimes on the app, it, like, sounds differently. And anyways, it's not like the original Vector Man was all that easy either, by the way. I've got some fond memories of this game, although more recently, like, the first Vector Man was a huge game for me in the 90s. I used to play that game all the time. Late 90s. But, Bobby Potato Man, the Streaming Retro. Alright. That literally sounds like you just put something into AI that's like a combination of what I'm doing and, like, make up a Sonic character involving my name. That's what that looks like to me. Bobby the Retro Potato Man. Like, it's just like, I don't know where potato came from, but the rest of it just sounds like you're just summarizing what I'm doing. I swear there was something up there. This is actually one of those games where I need to be somewhat focused into, but I also don't want to be too focused because I don't want to, like, lose sight of the chat, because the chat is kind of more the game in the game right now when it comes to retro. But yeah, like I said, and again, I think, like, Toaster gets paid every time he says the word shrinking, because he's been saying it a lot lately, but, I have more nostalgia for this game recently. I did play it when it first came out, but By then, I'd moved on to Dreamcast. This was kind of just a game I wanted to find, and when I found it, I played it for like maybe a little bit, and then I put it down. But since then, I've really gotten a chance to play this game. It's a challenging game, but it's not unfair. It's challenging. I don't think it's as good as the first Vector Man. I'm not going to say that, but there's some good ideas here, and there's a lot of levels. Probably not going to see them all right now, but we'll get as far as I can. Does this run at... I honestly can't tell you that. I don't know. I'd imagine not, because it's a very old game. It's just upscaled on the Retron 5, but the Retron 5 can only make it like 720p, maybe 30 FPS, maybe 60 FPS. I have no idea. Bex would be the tech guru on that one. I just think it's a very pretty game. The first game I actually think looks a little better, even though it came out first. This game has a little more going on, so if anything, I would think the frame rate would drop more, because there's usually more enemies on screen and more stuff going on in this particular game. The first game played it a little more safe in terms of graphic effects, but that's also why I think it looked better, because it wasn't trying to overdo it. But no, it is. I've always liked this game. This level and a couple other levels are really dark, like that's just the lighting in the game. Later levels have more color variation stuff. We may or may not get to them. I said this game didn't have unfair moments, but there are some enemies that just sneak attack you. Kind of like that. Yep. Kind of like that douche right there. Most 60 hertz on... Really? Okay. No, see, I don't even know what current games do in terms of FPS. Like, I mean, yeah, there's some I can tell. It's like, you know, 60 versus 30 or even 120. Which supposedly the $1,000 Switch 2 will be able to do. 120, but anyway. I always felt like SEGA was ahead of their time. And again, this is like a game from like the late 90s or mid-90s. 30, 60, 120, or 40. Okay, 40, see, I can't tell the difference between 30 and 60. I would not be able to tell the difference between 30 and 40 FPS. No, it's a valid question, though. I really just don't know the answer. 40 is... See, there you go. We're learning already. I said, funny enough, the worst part of this game, in my opinion, is these first few levels, because they're so dark. There's enemies that just come at you, like, I mean, once you know they're coming, they're not that bad, but it's like, the whole theme of this game is bugs. So there's, like, bug enemies, spiders, and different things that just leap at you, and in most levels, you can see them coming. These early levels are so dark and, like, tightly spaced, it is kind of annoying, I'm not gonna lie. Once you make it past, like, level 3, this game gets a lot better. Although, I also find the levels get shorter. It's almost like they ran out of ideas by, like, level 10. There's, like, 22 levels in this game. Again, we're not going to see them all. I can't wait to take out a second loan at my house. Hey, oh. I didn't mean to get into the whole Switch price debacle. You know, so I try to live in yesteryear. And, I mean, I guess consoles were always expensive. Even the N64, when it first came out, I don't think it was that much, but the games were like 80 or 90 bucks. Like, I think Mario 64 was like 80 bucks. Star Fox 64 was like 70 or 80 bucks, which when you think about it, that's kind of outrageous, because you can beat that game pretty quick. Mario 64, at least you could see. There's a lot of replay value in Mario 64. There's a lot of replay value in Star Fox as well, but... I don't know. Nintendo does what Nintendo does. I remember that, too, in the 90s. I mean, I didn't have any money back then. I still don't have any money. But, you know... You could argue that, you know, game prices were always high back in the 90s for what they were. You know, like every game was like 70, 80 bucks. And there were no updates then, so whatever came out, that was it. If it didn't work, it didn't work. You just spent 80 bucks on a buggy game. But obviously Nintendo's games were not like that, but I'm sure some were. For all the consoles, not just Sega, not just Nintendo. This is the level I always get stuck on, because it's really dark. You got to navigate these branches that you can barely see. If anything, I think this filter I have on here turns the light up a bit. The original game was even darker than this. Sega really does do what Nintendo don't, which is lower the prices of their damn games. Which, funny enough, the only time Nintendo lowered the prices of their games, like while they were still making them, was the Wii U. While the Wii U was still current, quote unquote, because it only really was current for 3 years, they like lowered the prices of like a lot of their big hit games, like to 20, 30 bucks, which I would never expect from them. And then as soon as the Switch came, they stopped doing that. In fact, they re-released the Wii U games for a full $60 or $70. So good job, Nintendo. Way to show us that you basically can only give us a discount when you're desperate. You know, when your customers support you, you reward them by raising the prices. That's a really good business model. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, but that's just really stupid. I see what you're saying, but it's just stupid on Nintendo. Like, just price the games at 60 bucks. Like, people would have bought them. Price them at 70 for some of them, but, like, you're making the baseline 70 or 80 now. Like, just price them at 60. you still would have sold like a bunch of copies. No one would have complained about the new Mario Kart being 60. No, literally nobody would have complained. Especially since the old one's been 60 for 13 years. At least you'll have a new one for 60. But that's just that one game. So I'm saying, like, make your game 60, make the console 450 or whatever. I still don't think that would have been a breaking point. But you just needed that extra 10, 20 bucks. And then you needed the, you know, upgrade fee for Switch games you already own. I have no idea where I'm going in this level, by the way. That's where it gets me, and that's where I'm, like, hesitant to buy the thing. And you're right. They'll drop the price if people aren't buying it, you know, in the numbers they expect. But it's like, they should have just done that to begin with. They should have just released it at 60 to begin with. And maybe 70 for certain rare games like Zelda or something that's, like, really, like, a massive game, like... But I think that should be reserved for, like, certain games. And again, that's where you kind of get into the sticky thing of, like, you know, well, who determines the game prices, you know? Like, if Nintendo thinks it's a 100-hour game, then they can charge more for it. But that's a little more subjective. Doug Bowser for being, yeah, I didn't even know who that was until recently, and I've been seeing his name a lot, and much like the Mario villain Bowser, he is kind of a dick. But at least the Mario Bowser is a fictional character. I'm gonna die. I like the power-ups you get in this game. Oh, I'm good at checkpoint. I can start from this dark corner if I die, and I will die. That is not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. But yeah, I'm not, I mean, you know what, it's whatever. It's already done. Like, I'm all with the crowd that wants to say drop the price and all that, but they're not going to. At least not until, like, I don't know how impacted they'd have to be, because they're going to sell a bunch of Switches at release, a bunch of Switch 2s at release. People are going to pre-order them. So they're not going to see any difference in sales until maybe a year or two in. Like, if people are really that adamant about it and they only buy, like, one game for their Switch 2, then they'll start to see software sales go down. Because that's how console companies make their money, is software sales. So if they're not making software sales, then, yeah, they're not going to make money no matter how much you're charging for Switch 2. EA had shitty business practice. Yeah, I mean, again, I want to say I don't want to bash Nintendo, but I kind of do want to bash Nintendo. But I'm just trying to play my SEGA game. This level, though. There's actually a few different ways to go in this level. They all involve going up, and you can't, like, I feel like sometimes you jump